Hello. I've been deeply exploring various apocalypse scenarios to get a more grounded look at what some plausible situations might look like. This is mainly for lore building, but also to satisfy my own curiosity. But it can also give you some insight on what to expect if you find yourself in one of these scenarios, no matter how fantastical it may be. And now it's time to talk about the zombie scenario timeline. This scenario is one that was tricky to answer with the zombies not being real. There are a lot of details that I think get overlooked, like how they feed on human flesh, but also their victims come back to life, and that's how the whole zombie plague perpetuates itself. So are they eating humans, or are they just taking a little bite for some calories and leaving the rest to become a zombie? Or they don't eat the humans, but bite to cause a fatal injury and infect them, and maybe eat the fully dead zombies. And in either scenario, they're using up caloric resources to keep moving. They have to keep within the realm of physical reality. You have to be getting that energy from somewhere. Also, I would assume that if the muscle tissue in, say, the arm is destroyed during an attack, then that zombie will continue to not have a working arm for the duration of that zombie's life. Now, about the energy requirements to keep a zombie going. They could last a long time if the brain isn't consuming resources and some of the temperature regulation is allowed to fail in favor of movement. But zombies are still confined to the laws of physics, and they will eventually die out or decompose in complete absence of new resources entering the body. And if we agree that zombies do need a feed to continue moving, then eventually they will turn to eating each other or wildlife if there are no humans available to feed on. Now, a lot of practical estimations say that it would take about 3 weeks for a zombie to decompose. That's assuming that there are no new resources entering the body to keep it alive. I am willing to say that with some feeding happening to provide energy, and with an intake of moisture from the environment in the form of rain, dew, and naturally occurring bodies of water, it can last a maximum of 3 months before the biological systems all fail from a lack of internal repair. I will also say that if a head is removed from the body cleanly, it won't survive for a very long time, and if it's submerged in water like in The Walking Dead, it will die as soon as it depletes all of the oxygen that's dissolved in that water. So if a fish can survive in that water, I'll assume the zombie body can find a way to absorb that oxygen as well. So now that I've dug a little deeper into how a zombie could function, my next big question is, with adequate shelter, could humanity wait out the zombie apocalypse? So unfortunately, some college papers have been written on how long it would take zombies to take over humanity. One concluded that a zombie apocalypse would wipe out humanity in a matter of 3 months. Others say that after 1,000 days, the human population will begin to rebound. Now, for my likely scenario, I contest the idea that zombies will stay alive indefinitely. The body begins to break down once all the stores of fat and glycogen are depleted. But zombies will feed on the remains of fallen zombies and can survive off a meal for 3 days before the body starts to break down muscles for energy. The zombies can then last up to 2 months without eating, but it will be really slow and weak. Depending on the state of decay, the zombie will feed to keep itself going, or reserve its energy to pass the virus on to the next possible host. I think these conditions stay within the realm of reality, but give the zombies an extra bit of fighting chance. Now I delineate between fast zombies or slow zombies. The slow zombie argument is that they are brain dead, so coordination of running is not possible, hence why they stumble walk, and seem to only reach their highest level of coordination during a short-range attack or lunge. This is the scenario that is the closest to a terrestrial origin undead plague. Now, I think fast zombies can be supported with ideas of the brain being hijacked by another organism, like, let's say, a virus. Coordination can remain high because the brain is still functional, just heavily under the influence of a foreign organism. These zombies may be able to heal and feed because they are not technically dead, but unless there are biological changes, that food still has to be something that the human body can tolerate. This branches off from the traditional zombie trope. Perhaps Last of Us and I Am Legend fit into this category. Now, with all those assumptions addressed, my question still remains: how long will we have to wait to survive? After 4 months being favorable to the human side, or I want to say 6 months before the initial site of the zombie apocalypse can be taken back by human survivors. The idea being that all the zombies in that area have died of starvation by then. Since all of the human activity has moved further away from the epicenter, naturally, to keep infecting humans, zombies have to move further away as well. There may be cases where an area that should be clear still has some zombies because of pockets of survivors that later became infected when one of the members carrying the virus died and turned into a zombie, then got their fellow survivors infected. But more and more, this will become the exception, and after about 3 months, those zombies will have died of natural causes as well. To completely avoid this, we can assume that all of these instances will run their course after about 6 months after the start of the apocalypse. So after about 6 months, the epicenter will be safe enough where you can send people to start clearing and retaking land, but it wouldn't be completely over by now. Things will be looking up for human survival at least. Then there's the cold of winter. That will help thin down the number of zombies. In places with freezing temperatures, both slow and fast zombies will die from exposure to the elements. So if all goes according to plan for the humans, within at least 1 year, most of the zombies should have been starved out or killed by freezing temperatures. Here is a rough timeline of events. Zombie apocalypse can start near the end of fall, and within 30 days the temperatures will drop. People who are still hiding in their shelters can make their way north where it's cold. They could also shelter in place, or they could even get evacuated by the military. After several months of cold temperatures, people still hiding in their shelters are mostly safe. A few zombies that manage to make it through do infect a few unfortunate groups, but the military is able to respond quickly and are on alert for other possible breakouts. After another month, it seems all traces of the zombie plague are eliminated, and a month after that, it is officially declared over. That would be a fast timeline for slow zombies taking around 6 months to take place. Of course, a longer timeline would have the breakout happen in the middle of spring where the temperatures are more forgiving. And that timeline would have human error cause the zombies to be more successful at continuing to infect people. Now, fast zombies are categorically different from the slow undead zombies. Taking a look at the Zombiepedia page on the matter reveals that many people hold this opinion, including Max Brooks, author of the Zombie Survival Guide, and George Romero, famous for the Living Dead series of zombie films. It's validating to see that I'm not the only one who came to the conclusion that fast zombies would have to be some kind of infected host rather than a dead person that came back to life. In fact, in some of these fast-moving, in quotes, zombie movies, they explicitly say that it's some kind of rabies virus or rage virus. But since this difference would be mostly semantical if you were trying to survive, what really matters is the key difference in how these zombies use up their energy. Fast zombies have the added benefit of being able to overwhelm humans more easily and infect a greater number of humans before the humans can respond to the situation. However, with their bodies being kept more alive than slow zombies, they can actually have a shorter lifespan than the slow zombies. If the zombies were still able to consume food, then they could provide themselves with the caloric energy they need to power their more capable bodies. But once all sources of food are gone, their time will be up more quickly, closer to the 1 to 3 week range. Zombiepedia says that the whole ordeal could last 6 to 12 months in total, which is actually the same time range that I came up with for the slow zombies. Now, the only thing fast zombies have as an edge is that their origin can be anything really, including a non-terrestrial parasite or virus that turns people into aggressive, semi-intelligent creatures, or made to be some kind of bioweapon that gets out. If you really want an imaginative scenario, then you might want to stretch out the definition of what a zombie is to mean some kind of infected host. And as such, an infected host could spread the virus through the air, leading to a harder outbreak to contain, or it could have regenerative abilities that push the limits of what's possible with biology. So the quote, fast zombies have a lot of flexibility in what abilities they could have, since they are not undead. So with that caveat out of the way, it sounds like if you're planning to survive a zombie outbreak, you should be ready to shelter for 1 year. Or you should have a plan on how to get yourself to where the temperatures are brutally cold. Just be sure to be ready to weather the cold yourself, and you should be well protected from most zombie scenarios. Cool. Now time to think about the other forms of the apocalypse. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I'd like to thank everyone who watched my previous video on the nuclear apocalypse. I'll catch you guys again soon. Bye bye.